everybody. Welcome to the Brunswick Heritage Museum. This is Brunswick History 101, a segment where we're actually looking at artifacts in the Brunswick Heritage Museum. This portion, we're actually going to concentrate on two subjects kind of wrapped up into one exhibit here, is the Victorian Kitchen and the concept of boarding houses. So boarding houses were actually common in Brunswick. We heard earlier in our segments about how there was such an influx of people coming here in Berlin to build the railroad that they needed to stay someplace. There wasn't enough housing, so a lot of people took boarders in. Then also, an interesting fact about boarding houses was that you had railroad widows. Railroading was a very dangerous work, was a very dangerous industry. You had railroad widows who were left living in these large Victorian homes. They had extra rooms as they took on boarders and created boarding houses. This sign here is actually of a local boarding house, Katie Bernard's Meals and Lodging, and this was on display outside of her house and location. So if you come into the kitchen, you will actually find some interesting components. We bring school children through on tours often. And one time we had a little boy ask three very interesting questions. Number one, he wanted to know where the microwave was. He wanted to know where the refrigerator was. And when I told him the answers, he kind of put his hands on his head and screamed, you know, how did these people live? The refrigerator, quote unquote, was this. This is an ice chest. This ice chest actually dates to 1857. And ice was delivered in blocks. And you used ice tongs to actually pick up the blocks of ice, put in the ice box so it kept your items cold. You did not stock up on items like we do now. They did not put a lot of things in their ice chest. They tended to shop daily, if not every other day, and for produce and meats. And meats always didn't come where they had to put them in cold storage. A lot of times meats were preserved, such as country ham, a salted cured country ham. So from the ice box, we move over here to our cabinet, which this is a Hoosier Cabinet. These were typical from the 1880s to even up into the 1930s and 40s. That definitely stored items that you needed in the kitchen. A lot of them had their flour sifters built into them. They had a porcelain top to work on. You can also see our spread here. We like to thank Vicki Deering of the Curatorial Committee who creates these great displays here at the museum. So that chicken actually looks good. We might break into that in a little bit. And then we have here a stove range. This would have been a coal-fired stove. You can see some coal there on the stove. Coal would have been purchased at the local hardware store, and sometimes magically coal got dropped off from a train, and people were able to bring it home and use it for heating and cooking. So I wanted to give you this snapshot of what a boarding house kitchen would have looked like in a kitchen in early Victorian time period. So I thank you very much. If you are enjoying these videos, please feel free to send us a donation via PayPal at admin@brunswickmuseum.org. Thank you very much.